Hi, today's good person to know is Mark Robbins. He's Senior Front-End Web and Email Developer at The Learning People. And although this video is rather technical, it was definitely thought-provoking, especially if you want to know how to make your emails more engaging. Mark centered his presentation around experimental email code and said that with the growth of emails, web browsers have become popular enough to become more experimental, and that's because there's so much stuff going on that's being discovered all the time. There's no reason to limit the way in which you can engage with your clients when it comes to email. He said that you should test to see if your experimental code works by asking colleagues to trial it on their phones, to ask them for their personal emails to see how it pairs on their web browsers and on different devices. Mark is such a cool guy. He's so enthusiastic about experimental code that he's written his own blog and he puts everything on that. He says don't be afraid to fail or to make mistakes, because there will always be someone who's happy to help you and who may even correct your error for you. The main point that I picked up, and I'm no techie at all, was that mobile click-through rates are so low so that we have to work harder to get people to engage with us. But who's going to respond to a static email? Well, super cool Mark has come up with an animation that gets users engaged and is more likely to increase conversions. He's coded an animation, a fly, that you have to splat, and once you've caught it, it unveils a link which you can click so that you can claim your prize. Now the prize can be anything. It can be a voucher, a discount code, an offer of any kind. Now I wanted to see how this worked and caught up with Mark after the talk. Check out the demonstration. Can you imagine the possibilities? No more boring emails. It's so cool. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it gets you excited about the way in which you can animate your emails. So thank you for watching.
First of all, I'm going to explain what I mean by experimental email code. It's not 1998. People are using their phones for more than just playing Snake on these days. It's like email has come forward a lot. We're still using tables, yes, but if that's your mindset that you're coding like it's 98, you're not going to do anything experimental, you're not going to move forward, nobody's going to do it, interact with your email. So we should be coding like it's 2014. So that's stuff like responsive emails, CSS animation, embedded videos, SVG images, SVG animation, interactive emails, and more. Really in the last couple of years, with the growth of mobile, that WebKit browsers have become popular enough for us to be doing all these new things. It's worth doing these things now because they are supported. So there's so much stuff being discovered all the time because it's only really been a year or two that people have been doing this. There's a lot of stuff happening. It's new stuff happening every day. Get on Twitter as well, there's so much going on. And just read this, set aside a little time, just a little bit of time in the morning, have a read through, see if anything new's coming up. And don't just look at email. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the web. There's like all the scrolling websites people are doing at the moment, you know. Can you do that with email? I think how to exploit every trick you find. If somebody publishes a blog saying, this is a great way to replace an image on a mobile from desktop, then could you use that for text? Could you use it for putting a link in for an app maybe? Or are there other ways you could use things? Don't just take things on their face value, look more into it. And don't limit your ideas to what's possible. Don't think, I can use CSS animation, so I'm going to do that in my email. Think, I want to do an animated email, how can I do that? If you think of the end result you want and then work backwards, you might not be able to achieve it, but at least that expands your creativity a bit more. Don't limit yourself. You don't have to be revolutionary. You can just, I keep going over bits of code I've written before, just add in a little line and suddenly it works in Outlook, or strip stuff out so you've got a nice cleaner block of code to work with. I use a website called Browserstack, and through there I can look at I can load up a Windows 98 PC running an old version of Firefox and then open up Yahoo Mail in that and see how that works. And there's endless combinations you can do this way. Chances are you've probably got an Android or an iPhone in your pocket. Work out, if you've got one, work out who's got the other. But also sign up for a Yahoo account, sign up for Hotmail, sign up for AOL. Download Thunderbird, install as many apps as you can on your phone, and then you have a range of email addresses for testing. So get one email address and set it up to forward to all of your other ones. And then do your test, send it to one email address, and then just check it on all the devices, load up all the different apps. It takes a while, but it's live testing, and it's cheaper than going out buying those devices. With our newsletter, We send it once a month. So we're looking at about 3 days before we send it out to all our subscribers, we'll send it to all our staff. And then that gives you a chance to get any feedback. If you can get people's personal email addresses, they'll check it on their phones, they'll check it on their home computers, they'll check it on their webmail, on their tablets. It's such a great community. People are very happy to help out. There's things like the Litmus Community Campaign Monitor Forum. There's like Twitter as well, blogs all over the place of people sharing their code and collaborating. If you're stuck, somebody will help you. So if you're developing something new, then put it up on a blog. I've created a website at the start of the year, and I'll put stuff up there. And people will take your code and they will send it themselves. If there's an error in it, they will let you know. And more often than not, they'll actually fix the error for you. You need to push things to the boundaries. You need to break things to understand how they work. Otherwise, you're not going to be pushing them hard enough. You really need to push stuff to the edge. The more you fail, the better you get at it. The idea is, like, look at CSS animation, for an example. There's no need for someone like Gmail or Yahoo to support CSS animation if nobody's sending it. They don't need to put that in. But then if we're all sending emails without CSS animation and SVG images and embedded videos, they need to catch up with the technology. They're going to be falling behind. And I don't care if they're saying, oh, it's not safe, we need more security. That's their problem. They need to sort it out because they need to catch up with the technology. You do something that's cool, it makes you look cool. If that also makes your boss look cool, it makes his boss look cool, it makes his boss's boss look cool, it makes the whole company look cool. To improve engagement, people like to click on things that are pretty, like shiny buttons, animating things, stuff moving around. You want to click on it because it's pretty, it's fun. Mobile click-through rates are lower than desktop, so you need to work harder to get them to click. So doing a little animation or a nice pretty button or something like that, it makes them want to click more, so it's helping there. And finally, it works. From our tests, we've seen higher click-through rates, we've seen more engagement, we've seen higher conversions from our experiments we've done. It's all been split test, and it works. The fly buzzes around your email, and then when you splat it, you splat the fly, and by hovering over it with your mouse in your desktop or tapping it, because you've got that sense of achievement of catching the fly, you're more likely to click the link. So when you splat the fly, you'll see a link appear.
Mark's very kindly agreed to show me what he meant about the bee on an email.
So as it moves around, it's flying around just a bit of CSS just to reposition it. And then when you catch it, you hover over it. Oops, there we go. And then it'll stop, and then at that point you could display a link to your page, you could display a discount code or anything along those lines. And this doesn't have to just be a fly, you could use it with catching a ball, saving a goal, something like that if you wanted to go down the sporting route, or there's so many options that you can stretch this out to. It is an interactive game, really.
Yeah.
So I think there's plenty of opportunity.
It's just another way of engaging with the audience.
Exactly, yeah. It's to engage the audience. Once they've done this, they get a sense of achievement that they'll want to click through, and they're more likely to purchase or engage in their site afterwards as well.